Good morning, friends and students. Today we'll start with our second author, Wordsworth, in paper 5, that is criticism paper, and we'll discuss topics related to Wordsworth's preface to lyrical ballads. The first topic we'll start with is Wordsworth's conception of poetry, its nature, function, themes, and language. To start with, first we'll talk about the significance of the preface. Poetry is, like all other arts, a sort of mystery. Its charm depends upon qualities which can neither be defined accurately nor they can be reduced to some rules. Hence, all expositions of the art and practice of poetry must necessarily be incomplete. But critics and poets in all ages and countries, in all areas, have tried to explain their own theory and practice of poetry. Wordsworth also has given his views on poetry, its nature, its functions, and the qualifications of a true poet in his preface to the lyrical ballads. Few compositions of equal length contain so much of vigorous criticism and sound reflection of the preface. It would be worthwhile first to quote from his own words some relevant parts which determine or which lay down the preface. The first part is, or the first point that we would like to discuss is the process of poetic creation, that how a piece of poetry or poetry is created. So, Wordsworth has given 4 stages by which a work of art or piece of poetry can be created. So, first we'll read something which Wordsworth have himself said. Quote, I have said that poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotions recollected in tranquility. The emotion is contemplated till, by a species of reaction, the tranquility disappears and an emotion kindred to that which was before the subject of contemplation is gradually produced and does itself actually exist in the mind. In this mood, successful composition generally begins, and in a mood similar to that it is carried. But the emotion of whatever kind and in whatever degree from various causes is qualified by various pleasures, so that in describing any passions whatsoever which are voluntarily described, the mind will, upon the whole, be in a state of enjoyment. If nature be thus cautious to preserve in a state of enjoyment a being so employed, the poet ought to profit by the lesson held forth to him, and ought specially to take care that whatever passions he communicates to his reader, those passions, if his reader's mind be sound and vigorous, should always be accompanied by an overbalance of pleasure. Unquote. So, the first point that Wordsworth here discusses is that poetry is an overflow or spontaneous overflow of feelings. So, the nature of poetry, the poet clearly states that the poetry is spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings or passion. In other words, poetry proceeds from the internal feelings of the poet. It is a matter of feeling, mood, and temperament. When the mood is on him, it flows naturally and without labor. Means when the poet is in the mood to write, the words flow naturally and he doesn't need any labor for it. Therefore, poetry or the true poetry cannot be written without this proper mood and temperament. We cannot ask a poet to write at our sweet will. Poetry cannot be produced on order. It must flow out voluntarily and willingly from the soul of the poet. Secondly, poetry is a matter of feelings, powerful feelings. It is generated in the heart and not in the mind. It never is an intellectual process. Poetry is born not in the mind but in the heart, overflowing with feelings. Poets are gifted with this feeling or the organic sensibility than ordinary individuals. They have greater capacity to receive and sense impressions, beauties of nature, beautiful scenes of nature, which doesn't have any impact on ordinary mortals, excite the poet and produce powerful emotions, and he has the urge to express these emotions and thus convey his joy to others. Wordsworth himself was such an individual. His heart went out with joy on beholding a rainbow in the sky or daffodils dancing in the breeze, and he has expressed these powerful feelings spontaneously in his immortal poems. Then is the second point that the poet has said is the recollection in tranquility. According to Wordsworth, good poetry is never an immediate expression of such powerful emotions. A good poet must mediate or meditate and ponder over these things long and deeply. In other words, the poetry has its origin in emotions recollected in tranquility. Though there are at least 4 stages through which an experience has to pass before successful composition can be created or it can become possible. First of all, there is the observation or perception of some object or character or incident which sets up some powerful emotions in the mind of the poet. Secondly, there are some recollections or contemplations of that emotion in tranquility. At this second stage, memory also plays a very important role. An interval of time, it may be quite long, say it may be around 10 years or so, and these first experiences have sinked deep into the poet's consciousness and they become part of his being. During the interval, the mind contemplates in tranquility the impression received by it and it is purged of the non-essential element. Means it is the mind has deselected the non-essential elements. This filtering is the selective process. It is very slow and time and solitude are necessary or essential for this process. In this way, the poet's emotion is universalized. Thirdly, the interrogation of memory by the poet sets up or revives the emotion in the mind itself. It is very much like the first emotion, but it is purged of all superfluities and constitutes a state of enjoyment. Then is the overbalance of pleasure. This does not mean that the creative process is a tranquil one. The poet expresses his points in the process of contemplation. The tranquility disappears. When creating, the poet has to rejuvenate his passion again and is terribly exhausted at this level. But creation carries with it joy, or what Wordsworth had said, that an overbalance of pleasure. On the whole, the mood of imaginative creation is enjoyment. Wordsworth has provided no answer to the riddle and simply ascribes it to nature, that nature has the power to give you this pleasure. In other words, the creative process is natural. The ability to create comes from nature and not from premeditated art. Then the fourth point Wordsworth has discussed is communication. The fourth, and this is the last stage of composition. The poet must convey that overbalance of pleasure, his own state of enjoyment, to others. He differs from ordinary individuals not merely in his great sensibility, but also in his capacity to communicate his experience to others and to communicate them in such a manner as to give pleasure to them. Meter is justified, for it is pleasure superadded. Verse will be read 100 times where prose is read only once. So, this is the beauty of poetry, that it gives you pleasure again and again, while prose can be just read once and give you pleasure, but verse or meter can give you pleasure again and again. Its beauty never fades. So, we will discuss the other half of Wordsworth's conception of poetry in our next lecture. Thank you for now.